What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am a little bit excited. Because you see, it looks like the regular reveal of new Digimon cards is starting to happen, and that makes me a very happy boy. We've got a lovely couple of new cards to be talking about today, and I want to start off with a new level 6 that I don't think we've seen in the game before, though as always, do correct me if I am wrong here. We have got Valkyrimon. Now, the translation here I'm using does come from TCG Review over on Twitter, and if you're not following that lovely person on Twitter, might I suggest you fix that sooner rather than later. Now, what we've got here is new level 6 Red Digimon, and we have got 9,000 power. Now, that's the one thing that jumps out to me straight off the bat here. 9,000 power is low. Like, really quite low. We've seen low level 6s before, it's not completely and utterly unheard of. Angelmon back in New Evolution was an 8,000 power level 6. So, it's not unheard of, but it, bear no mistake here, is remarkably low. And we've got an 11 cost to play normally, which is on the lower end for level 6s, but not hideously cheap. And we got a free cost to evolve, which is fairly standard for level 6s. So what we've essentially got here is a not particularly cheap, but particularly weak new level 6. So ladies and gentlemen, there must be something going on to justify this particular card. And oh my goodness, there is. You see, we've got a skill here whereby when you Digivolve into this Digimon, you delete a Digimon with 4,000 power or less. So you just immediately get to take out one of your opponent's Digimon. Obviously, remember, you cannot use skills against Digimon in the raising area, so it is worth bearing in mind if you try to do this to delete a Digimon in the raising area, this will not work, it will in fact fail. But this puts your opponent in an awkward situation, because if they think or know that you're playing Valkyrimon, then they can essentially wait, and if they wait, then they can evolve all the way up until they've got more than 4,000 power, and that will avoid this. But come on, that's a little bit awkward, is it not? The answer is yes. Yes, it is a little bit awkward. So this is kind of awesome. You're basically getting free deletions on your opponent's Digimon, and you might even be forcing them into playing in a way that they usually wouldn't. But I've not actually told you the best bit yet. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, when you attack with this Digimon, you get to delete a Digimon with 4,000 power or less. Yeah, that's right. It does it when you evolve. It also does it when you attack, and you can look there and just compare the Japanese characters and see that it is, in fact, the exact same skill. So, the Digivolve skill is nice. I like the Digivolve skill. It takes out a Digimon at some point during the game. It hurts your opponent's board. It can take out a Digimon before it evolves into something big and bad and all of that, blah, blah, blah. The real joy with this particular card is that you can keep going. And that is the difference here. It's not just the fact that you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon when you evolve, though that is very cool. It is the fact that you can keep doing it turn after turn after turn after turn. And that is going to put your opponent in some awkward situations. Because if your opponent thinks you might evolve into it, they can go, you know what? I'll hold off for a turn, and I'll do all the evolution next turn. Although, of course, bear in mind, if they're holding off their evolution until they've got enough memory to evolve 3 or 4 times in one go, that, of course, puts you in a position of being able to constantly make sure the turn passes to them with little memory to stop them doing that, and that is, I mean, I love the memory gauge. I think it is one of the very best things about this game. And you can basically force your opponent into a situation where they have to evolve piecemeal because you ain't giving them much memory. And then when they evolve piecemeal, you force them into having their Digimon deleted. Honestly, it's kind of hilarious and kind of funny, and I'm kind of enjoying it. This could be huge. And then, of course, if we ignore all of the mind games, you're just taking out all of these Digimon. You're going to get the vast majority of level 3 Digimon. You're going to get a bunch of level 4 Digimon as well. We refer to the Rookie Rush deck archetype. And Rookie Rush is essentially whereby you play lots and lots of very small, weak Digimon, with the theory being that you swarm the field, and even though all your Digimon are getting destroyed every time they attack, by security cards, it doesn't really matter because you've got so many Digimon out that you'll get enough attacks that you can essentially just strip the security and win the game. And in Ultimate Power, we did actually get a bunch of cards released which were essentially here to counter that. So one I've mentioned a few times on videos lately is Lightning Paws. It was a very, very nice yellow card whereby for free memory, you can just get 3 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon and give them minus 4,000 power, which most of the time will delete them, though there is of course no guarantee that it will always work. We saw River of Power, which returned up to 3 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to their hand, discarding any Digivolution sources, and again, that was just there to try and make sure that your opponent couldn't get too many on the field and keep them on the field for that long. And this seems very much like a continuation of that. And I'm in, ladies and gentlemen. I am absolutely in. This is going to be a really, really nice card. You're unlikely to be able to get rid of all of your opponent's Digimon. I mean, at the end of the day, right, you're still only a 9,000 power Digimon, which means against security cards, or even just if you're resting your opponent's Digimon, you will be taken out more easily than a lot of other cards would be. And that is something we do need to bear in mind. And similarly, you're only taking out 1 Digimon per turn for as long as you stay alive. I get and I understand all of that. But the fact of the matter is, this can be wrecking your opponent's littler Digimon, and I absolutely adore this. Bearing in mind, you're destroying one of their level 4 or 3 Digimon probably when you attack something else. So I adore this. I think Valkyrimon is wonderful. Weak, but absolutely worth it. The other one we've got here is Angelmon, which is weird, because we've seen Angelmon a couple of times before. We saw Angelmon back in the starter decks, or I suppose to be more specific, the yellow starter deck, because Angelmon was a yellow Digimon, blue now, and we saw Angelmon in New Evolution. Although, again, Angelmon in New Evolution came through as a yellow card. And now we're back again, and we've got Angelmon as a blue Digimon. Though we are seeing this more and more as time goes by, Digimon basically reappearing as other colours. I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see it keep happening. But is it any good? Well, what we've essentially got here is a level 4... 4 cost to play normally, 2 cost to evolve, which actually makes it cheaper by 1 than the other 2 Angelmon, though the same cost to evolve, and 3,000 power, which makes it on the lower end of level 4s. To be honest with you, a lot of level 3s are 3,000 power. This is quite weak. So stats-wise, it is, to be fair, it's better than Angelmon because it's cheaper, but it's not quite as good as Angelmon because it's lower power. But what does it actually do? Well, it's got an inheritable skill whereby when you attack, you discard 1 evolution source from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. And this is a very blue deck card, like a proper job blue deck card. Back in the starter decks, blue starter deck, we had Garurumon, which could remove an evolution source for when you attack as an inheritable skill, and incidentally this is identical to Garurumon's skill. It is Garurumon, but it is 1 less memory, 1,000 less power, so if you are evolving up through, I do prefer this to Garurumon. And then we had Gabumon as well, that did the same thing, but only from a level 5 or less Digimon, i.e. level 6 and 7 Digimon were safe. So we're kind of getting the return of these blue skills from the starter decks, but on a Digimon that has been traditionally yellow in the past. And this is kind of cool. I mean, we could look at the Blue Tamer, from the starter decks, which at the beginning of your turn, if your opponent has any Digimon with no evolution sources, you gain a memory. And this is what Blue's basically been doing literally since the starter deck, which introduced us to Blue Digimon. Getting rid of evolution sources and having some fun skills that activate when they do. I'm not excited about this like I am excited about Valkyrimon, because honestly, you're just looking at a cheaper, weaker Garurumon, which was one of the very first blue cards we ever saw. It's a cool card, don't get me wrong, but it's not a card which is absolutely filling me heart with joy. What I do like is Valkyrimon. I think that is a phenomenal card, which could end up making a big difference in a whole bunch of games. But now I'd be very interested to know what you think about these new Digimon, so be kind enough to let us know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.